folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing all right tonight. We got a lot to talk about, as usual. Boy, a lot of the news services are quiet, but things are happening if you keep your ear to the ground. And what do we have on the picture there? Well, what's it saying? If the mountain won't come to Mohammed or Muhammad, whatever. Looks like somebody blew up a mountain. I got a video of that. We're going to talk about that. We've got international crises. We got people at home that are crazy about Donald Trump still. They can't just settle down and hope that what happens is best for our country. So while we got people coming in, I'm going to play some videos. I got a good one that, remember that guy that got fired? Terry Moron? Tell me this guy. Tell me this guy wasn't a paid operative, a true believer, a fellow traveler installed into our news services to assist with this illegal psychological warfare campaign. Watch this video and judge for yourself.
I like to say that in some ways, Barack Obama is the first president since George Washington to be taking a step down into the Oval Office. I mean, from a visionary leader of a giant movement, now he's got an executive position that he has to perform in.
The question you can sense on everyone's mind as they listen so intently to him, is he the one? Is Barack Obama the man, the black man, who could lead the Democrats back to the White House? Around here, they're even naming babies after him.
In 2016, Bernie Sanders changed the Democratic Party. He made democratic socialism cool for millions of voters. Bottom line, Roe versus Wade is overruled. There is no constitutional right to an abortion. Let's not mince words. Women will die because of this ruling. This is a court not of judges, but of politicians in judges' robes. Fight for Trump, not fight for America. He has the Republican Party as a personalized power like we haven't seen. It's a caudillo, it's a Caesar, it's a Führer. We don't see that in this country. We do now. It's much more like sometimes you see in other countries, an authoritarian figure, maybe who has crossed the line of legality, still with an army of supporters. And that, in fact, the White House at this point is a laughingstock.
That's right.
In the capitals of Europe.
Looking to shore up shrinking support with the white voters he needs to recapture the White House, the president boasted about rolling back an Obama-era fair housing rule, stirring racist fears.
This is why he was sent here, by people who want to hear that message of America first. However, it carries with it overtones from the 1930s when an anti-Semitic movement saying we don't want to get involved in Europe's war. It's the Jews' fault in Germany. Charles Lindbergh led them. It is a term, as he defined it his way, but the words themselves carry very ugly echoes in our history.
Bigger purposes, and it's not about some, it's not about I win, you lose. The other thing is, when you look at the Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing.
Why are our Democrat colleagues so determined to flood our country with millions of illegal aliens? And I'd like to suggest that perhaps it's because they benefit from it politically. Remember that every state is apportioned congressional seats based on population, not based on citizenship. Counting non-citizens in congressional apportionment has resulted in more seats for blue states and fewer congressional seats for red states.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give President tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Yes, we will take care of it. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. So what'd you think of that first video? I might play it later on. Hi, Angel. How you doing? Colette, Robin, Angela. Nice to see you. Melinda, Sparky, Miss Mindersue. Haha. Yeah, Angel's here. Let's see. Angela, Angel, Brush. Nice to see you. Darla's here. Lori's here. All right. That's good to see. Everybody's coming in. Yvonne's here. Nice to see you all. So, yeah, I might play that video again. That character who was fired for the way he treated Donald J. Trump and his slanted reporting. I'm going to have this as my background. Let me see. I've got some videos I didn't play from last night, but I will tell you what, something happened over there in Iran, and people are speculating about what Donald Trump's going to do, and he's come out and said, nobody knows what I'm going to do, and all options are on the table. I have a video that shows a mountain. It looks like it's been blown to bits. Hi, Araceli, how you doing? Pappy Two Bears, nice to see you. I want to thank you for going to buy me a coffee. That's for sure. And whiskey. And Wayne, I didn't get to say thank you last night, so I'm thanking you tonight. So anyway, where's that video? Here is a shot somebody got driving down the street, the road. Let me know if you all have seen this. It happened today. What does it mean? It's not a small explosion. It's not in a city. Can anybody say bunker? Oh, that's all you heard. Oh, I'll play it again. Now, I've seen plenty of fires on the mountain, and they don't have a big cloud like that. That is from an impact and an explosion. Has anybody seen this footage? I'm wondering. Something big happened. That's what I have on my screen. And Trump said all options were on the table. It's in Iran. And the Israelis said they don't have bombs big enough to penetrate a mountain. Lucky, how you doing? It's anybody's guess. But the media is silent. Silent. As far as I know. So, I'll get to that. My thoughts on that matter. Let's see. I want to show you all this. Who's that? I want to get some stuff out of the way I had in the studio last night. Everybody knows who this is. I didn't know this stuff. Is somebody trolling? Or is this stuff true? What? What stuff? What stuff? Well, in 1983, the Capitol was bombed. She was the ringleader. You know what else is interesting? I don't know what else. This bombing was carried out by a left-wing group called the M19. The M19 was radicalized by the South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade. The South Los Angeles Venceremos Brigade was founded by the Communist Democrat Los Angeles mayor, Karen Bass Ackwards. There she is. Did you all know this? Did you all know this? Is somebody trolling me? Or what do you think? Doesn't hurt to get the word out. Here's a missile. The missile slowed down quite a bit from Tehran. But I could have got a half a dozen shots like this. But what an odd vapor trail behind this missile. You see how it bulges out there? Kind of atomizes at a certain point and goes out like an egg. Very odd. I guess that's when the secondary rocket kicks in and where it picks up speed, I guess, goes to hypersonic. I do not know. But, you know, they bombed a hospital over in Israel. And people are, of course, extremely upset over that. I have the video of it here. I'll play it twice. You'll be able to see the shock wave. Remember the video I played where it showed a shock wave? This was no regular munition. And they knew it was a hospital. What I showed you on the mountainside happened after this. After this happened. So anyway, the point being, I don't know if the mountainside blast is a consequence of this hospital bombing. This is what somebody filmed over Iraq. What do you think this is? It's quiet, whatever it is.
מה זה? זה שלנו? אבל אתה אומר בעצם זה לא יכול לטייל פה אפילו.
לא יודע, אפילו יכול להיות שהוא רואה אותנו.
לא ישחרר עלינו איזה טיל. מה זה? זה שלנו? אבל אתה אומר בעצם זה לא יכול לטייל פה אפילו.
לא יודע, אפילו יכול להיות שהוא רואה אותנו.
לא ישחרר עלינו איזה טיל.
Awful quiet. Looks like a B-2. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what Trump's going to do. And that blast was in the daytime. Yeah, Google, it's hard to say. They have planes kind of shaped like a B-2. But their wings are much smaller, and they're prop driven. They make a noise. That's why they call them lawnmowers. But this thing was quiet. You heard voices in the background. You didn't hear anything out of the sky. So anyway, I was watching that guy Tusi. I've told you about his name, Maher Tusi, Mayher Tousiir, I believe. Reports that not Al Sistani, but the Ayatollah was taken out today. But it's unconfirmed. Unconfirmed. But that blast looked like something. Yeah, he's over in London. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's not prop driven. Anyway, so here we have, I'll just go over some reports. I scoured reports to see if there was anybody else commenting on what I consider to be a massive explosion in the mountains. And they also the footage of whatever that plane was and the hospital bombing, which is drawing international condemnation. Israel began striking Iranian engineering equipment deployed to clean up aftermath of airstrikes on missile bases and warehouses. Various excavators and bulldozers can be seen in the frame. It appears that the Israeli military is trying to thwart possible Iranian efforts to dig up and restore the surviving ballistic missile launchers. May explain why they're being so quiet, right? Why they're not launching that much stuff. Here we have Iran continues to say that it will respond to the U.S. for its entry into the war. If the U.S. wants to actively intervene in support of Israel, Iran will have no choice but to use its tools to teach the aggressors a lesson and defend itself. Our military leaders have all necessary options on the table. Oh, said Iranian deputy whatever. He calls on the U.S. to at least stay out of it. Earlier, Khamenei voiced threats of a U.S. military's response yesterday. Trump, however, continues to demand Iran's capitulation while making it clear he's open for a deal. satellite image of the aftermath. That's one response they made of the strike on Iran's Iraq nuclear complex. One of the hits hit the containment dome of a nuclear reactor, and the other hit the distillation towers at a heavy water plant. Now, they say this hadn't been activated yet, and there's no elevated signs of radiation. Is it just a warning? Or a preempt, so they never get it going? We don't know. This is a destroyed Shahab ballistic missile launcher somewhere in the vicinity of Tehran. See the framework there in the picture up top? It's a wraparound. It's made to look like a delivery truck. Around the launch trailer, one can see the remains of the characteristic frame used by the Republican National Guard to disguise the missile launchers as ordinary trucks. However, it seems this does not prevent Israeli intelligence from identifying real launchers and then hitting them with airstrikes. Naturally, this will inevitably include regular trucks that are mistakenly identified as missiles. Well, don't hide, make them look like trucks then. You don't want to worry about that. So we'll get to some more of the action that's going on in Iran. But we had a strike on that nuclear facility. We had a strike on the hospital. And we have the mountain blowing up. And we have a mystery plane flying around. And meanwhile, Trump was putting his flags up and having a big old time. Did you catch where Donald Trump, when he was doing the flag raising, they asked him what he was planning on doing and this and that. He said he had much bigger things he was getting ready to do. And nobody asked a follow-up question. What can be bigger than dealing with Iran and the court cases and all the other stuff? What could be bigger? I think you're dropping a hint. I might have to go back and try and find that video. Look who crawled out from under a rock. Now, this isn't a current picture. I heard that Bill Clinton was having health problems and having difficulty walking. Did you all hear that too? I don't want anything bad to happen to him or anybody else. I'm just saying that's what I heard. Bill Clinton, Trump should defuse Israel-Iran conflict. Oh, really? Former President Bill Clinton urged Trump to defuse the current conflict between Israel and Iran and end the outright constant killing of civilians. You know, it used to be the protocol was ex-presidents did not comment. They're not supposed to comment. They're not supposed to interfere. But they don't know any rules. They don't know any rules. They do what they want. CNN. DHS issues new guidance for lawmakers visiting ICE facilities after tense confrontations. There's a famous picture of the mayor that got arrested. They're going to challenge this in court after a spate of tense encounters involving lawmakers. Here we go. Here's the article. At immigration, blah, blah, blah. The Department of Homeland Security is asking members of Congress to provide 72 hours of notice before visiting detention centers. Nothing wrong with that. Under the Annual Appropriations Act, lawmakers are allowed to enter any DHS facilities used to detain or otherwise house aliens to inspect them as part of their oversight duties. The act outlines that they are not required to, quote, provide prior notice of the intent to enter a facility. The agency's new memo also seeks to differentiate ICE field offices from detention facilities, noting that ICE field offices are not detention facilities, therefore do not fall under the Appropriations Act provision. I'm not going to read the rest of the article, but you get the point. They're showing up at places where people are initially booked and processed, not prisons and detention facilities, and they're raising hell. So watch for that to go to court. But here's what I wanted to play yesterday. These two idiots right here. Yeah, they're representatives of somewhere or another. But listen to them. They're asking this person. I'll play it, and I'll make comments, and I'll play it again. I'll do it that way. Listen very carefully, and he shuts the window in their face like he ought to.
Because you're not allowed to be here. Are you an officer with the BI International? I am an officer with ICE. You're an officer with ICE? Do you have a badge? Do you have an ID? Can you see it? I don't have to show that to you. You don't have to show that? I'm telling you to leave. I've already identified myself. I'm an officer with ICE. Can you show me a badge or an ID? You're not allowed to be here. Police are coming. Okay? What are we doing this improper, sir? What's in there?
Well, it looks like the tail end got cut off, but he said he already identified himself. They're asking him, at least in the clip I heard, I don't know if it got in on this, I have to listen to it again. They want him to take his mask off and show his face. They're harassing him. It's not a detention facility. You see what it says up there, intensive supervision appearance program. Is that like parole? Yeah, that's where you come in and you tell them what you're up to. Are you meeting your requirements? It's not a prison facility. And he asks them to leave, and they keep on pestering him. Oh yeah, I heard that, Diane. That the new plane from for Donald Trump. Hi, Sparky. Let me see if they ask him to take his mask off again. I heard him say, well, wait a minute. I heard him say, this stupid, I can't get this thing to do what I want. I heard him say, I've already identified myself. But did they ask him to take his mask off? They're pestering and harassing somebody.
Because you're not allowed to be here. Sir, are you an officer with the BI International? I am an officer with ICE. You're an officer with ICE? Do you have a badge? Do you have an ID? Can you see it? I don't have to show that to you. You don't have to show that? I'm telling you to leave. I've already identified myself. I'm an officer with ICE. Can you show me a badge or an ID? You're not allowed to be here. Police are coming. Okay? What are we doing this improper, sir? What's in there?
Well, they asked about his badge. But anyway, they're pestering people. And the rules are going to change. They'll sue over it. Who cares? Here, speaking of suing over stuff, libs of TikTok. Breaking, John J. McConnell. We've heard his name before. An Obama-appointed U.S. District Court judge blocked the Trump administration from withholding transportation grant funding from citizens that do not cooperate, from cities that do not cooperate with immigration enforcement. We got to root out all of these activist judges. Where's that lawyer I had in here last night? I want to ask him about that. What are they going to do with all these judges that we're going? Hi, Wanda. How you doing? Oh, okay. I'll just see who I missed. Hi, Bill. Nice to see you. Sissy's here. All right. Yeah, at least. Oh my God. Are you talking to Supreme Court, Wanda? Because of that decision, well, I'm glad, we prevailed, where the Tennessee law to protect children from mutilation and, oh my gosh, here. Oh, yeah, this is something to do with that, but you all know that the Supreme Court 6-3 upheld the ban on performing those experimental. I don't want to use the word treatment. That's too good a word for it. On minors, and the three that were against it: Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sonia Sotomayor, and who I finally made my decision on was Elena Kagan. I said I was a little up in the air about her staying, but now I have no doubt. She needs to go, Sonia Sotomayor needs to go, and Ketanji Brown Jackson needs to go. If they don't understand how civilization operates, if they don't understand what it means to disfigure permanently children for, I'm going to say, experimental purposes. It's criminal. And they don't seem to understand it. I hear you, Bill. Yeah, got to take a break from it. Candace, how you doing? You got to take a break from it. Here is a connected story. ABC. The 988 National You-Know-What-Aside Crisis Lifeline will stop providing tailored, that's the key word, support to Alphabet Plus youth and young adults on July 17th, according to a statement on a federal agency's website. How fast do you think a judge is going to step in on that? And who will it be? Who will be the judge? And you know what this is? This is nothing but support. Support for an unhealthy, dangerous philosophy. When these young people should be contacting a adult who cares about them and understands how life works, and get them to get on the right track. That's all this is a propaganda arm. And the people that are employed, who do you think they are? Activists. So yeah, they're going to shut it down, and I guarantee a judge is going to try to stop it. They had a bunch of freaks at the White House. Maybe this is it. Yeah, Laura Loomer. They got rained out. They were at the White House with their pro-Hamas signs and all, and they had a downpour. But Laura Loomer said anti-Trump, pro-Iranian regime protesters gathered outside the White House last night to fly the Iranian flag and call for a global intifada. This is anti-Trump, pro-Iran group has fully embraced Islamic terrorism. Why is the DHS not parking vans for ICE outside these protests? I think they're mapping them. I think they're cataloging and mapping these people. That's why. But Dan Scavino put a picture up afterwards, after the crowd got rained on and left. This was a picture Dan Scavino posted at the White House with Marine One taking off a beautiful rainbow. Whoa, my screen's frozen. What's going on? Can you all hear me? Why is my screen frozen? Hello. Oh, there they go. Man, my chats were frozen. Did I listen to it on... Did you listen in on that? What? Listen in on what? Oh. At least 3 to... No, I didn't. I didn't listen. I listened to the Clarence Thomas opinion with Amy Coney Barrett. I don't even want to hear what those 3 lunatics have to say. Yeah, Aristotle, a beautiful flag in the background. We got 2 of them. I think Trump did that. Hi, Graybeard, how you doing? We got 5x5s. I think Trump did it on that specific day for a reason. He planted our flag. I think it was symbolic of recapturing the White House. What do you all think? We've recaptured the White House from the enemy. R9. Be careful with the words you put in R9. Use zeros for O's in your zero mo actuals so I don't get in trouble with UTISL. Use zeros. Vowels, numbers for vowels. 3 for E's, 4 for A's, zeros for O's. And that way the rhythm can't pick it up. Yeah, we planted our flag, recaptured the White House, Wanda. Here's what Trump posted. While all this stuff is going on, he posted this today so people can also, not be panicans. Don't be a panican. We got other things. We got our own lives and our own prosperity and our own safety to worry about. We need a big, beautiful bill. I don't want to get a copyright. They will nail you with a copyright real quick on that song. I wish they'd, same with Lee Greenwood's song. I can't even do that. You know what? Before I get into some of these news stories, let's see if I get in trouble for this. Here is a very quick clip. A YouTuber is being approached by a peaceful protester who's keeping his hand in his pocket. Who knows what he's saying? But he's coming up out of nowhere quickly and running his mouth. And I guess the guy felt threatened. And I'll call this video performance art. Okay, it's performance art. It's not real. But see what you think. Yeah, dude, let's go. Yeah, we used to say, that'll learn you. That'll learn you. See, these characters never suffer any consequences. They spit on the police. They do all the stuff they're doing, and they get away with it night after night after night. So this guy probably had some, maybe Trump, I don't know. And he came, no, it wasn't fake. It wasn't fake, Miss Vince, too. That was I can't play it again because I might get in trouble, but you go back and rewatch it. That was a smack upside the head and a kick that that guy knew what he's doing. You need to watch some, what do they call it, Ultimate Fighting. You get kicked by somebody who knows how to kick, yeah, you know it. Here is that representative that posted she wanted to see Trump get his head cut off. Do you think this is good enough? Good enough to get her out of it? What she's saying here.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. This weekend, I shared a video montage on Facebook that included an image that was inappropriate. I realized that quickly and took the post down, and I want to apologize today. I apologize to members of the House, to my constituents, and to any North Carolinian who was offended by what I posted. I'm sorry. Every one of us needs to take accountability for when we make mistakes. I am taking that accountability today, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. Thank you.
When you make a mistake. That was just a mistake, saying you wanted to see the President of the United States have his head cut off. It was just a mistake. Can't you all forgive and forget? So, yeah. These people got to get voted out. The only one's going to get them out is us. I told you about J.D. Vance going on Blue Sky, getting kicked off of Blue Sky, and they getting put back on Blue Sky. User kicked off Blue Sky for not violently threatening J.D. Vance. Yeah. I put that up last night to read it, what J.D. Vance put up about Clarence Thomas. And we were discussing other things. But anyway, here's the flag racing right here. What is this, the flag racing? Wait a minute. Whoa, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. This is another video from Dan Scavino. Let me see. I wonder if it's got music. I can't remember. So there we go. Yeah. It was either Scavino or Trump put that up. You know, I want to, I'm going to talk about this situation here. Here's that channel I was talking about. 2C TV. That's not where I got the footage of that mountain blowing up. I ain't going to say where I got that. He had other footage showing strikes inside the city that he thought was the bunker. The bunker. And he put in it about 2 hours ago. Khomeini's bunker finally attacked by Israel. But I watched his live stream, and he basically said it's unconfirmed. Nobody has verified it. That's the word on the street. But I had just finished watching an hour earlier the mountain getting blown up. And I don't have any way to get a hold of Tusi. He does his own thing and I do mine. Hi, Whiskey. How you doing? Thank you for going to buy me a coffee last night. I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out for Buy Me a Coffee. It's in both Rumble and YouTube descriptions. So anyway, people were talking after the press conference by Caroline Leavitt. After this press conference, after this statement by Caroline Leavitt, everybody started saying Trump will decide whether or not to attack Iran within the next 2 weeks. Listen to what she says.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you.
Okay, a quote directly from the president. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Jack Posobiec, all the YouTubers. Trump's going to decide whether or not to bomb Iran within the 2 weeks. That's not what he said. His quote was, there was a good chance for negotiations. And if that happens, he'll go. There's a good chance there won't be. Then he won't go, right? That's what you can infer, right? Going to negotiations does not mean blowing things up. How come people get it so twisted? Do you guys agree with me? What she just said? And what people don't understand is Trump speak. He said they were willing to come to the White House. Remember that, folks? I played a little clip of that. They were willing to come to the White House. I don't know about that, but it was very brave of them. Remember him saying that? It was very brave. Why would it be brave? It'd be brave for Trump to go to Iran, but it wouldn't be brave for them to come to the White House because it's opposition people, not the mullah, not the representatives of the mullah. They would never come to the White House. He's signaling he's in contact with the opposition, and it was very brave of them to say publicly that they would come to the White House. Because why? The mullahs and everybody behind the mullahs would try to do away with them. That's why they're brave. And Trump is saying in about 2 weeks we should know whether or not the mullah, the supreme ayatollah, exists anymore. And where will he go? He won't go to Iran. Maybe he would. Maybe he would if everybody's cleaned out of there. But no, I'm thinking something else. Here's an odd post. Tell me what you think of this. Rudy Giuliani He doesn't post a whole lot. He doesn't post a whole lot on Truth Social, but he does post. Hi, Flan Cheese. There he is. Where's he at? Italy? I don't know. Wait a minute. Relaxing in Dubai before the storm. I got a spider crawling up the... Wait a second. I got to get that spider. Whoa. I don't want that. You know, you don't even know it. I'll bite you. Whoa. I got him. Anyway, he's in Dubai relaxing before what storm? Looks like blue skies to me. They calling for weather over there in Dubai? What's Rudy doing in Dubai? I don't remember him talking about it. I haven't watched his broadcast in a while. Maybe I should. But anyway, my point is, everybody took him out of context. Smart people, but maybe they're supposed to take him out of context. Maybe that's their job. But Trump is not making any misstatements. He's saying maybe there'll be negotiations. I'll know in 2 weeks. If so, I'll go. But he's not talking about negotiating with the supreme leader. He's already said what he wants to happen with the supreme leader. Out of here. So I hope that analysis makes sense to you all. What's going on here? A bunch of planes from the good old US of A heading all over a half acre. The air bridge of US, Europe, Middle East, and back. Transport aircraft continues to grow. It is not known for certain what exactly the Americans are transporting, but one of the key versions is the delivery of new interceptor missiles to Israel, as well as preparations for a possible U.S. Air Force air operation against Iran. You think so? Here's a speculation. From who? New York Times. New York Times. This stuff goes all around the world, folks. Iran still has advanced missiles, Israel intelligence official says. Only 65% of the missiles launched by Iran in the last 24 hours were intercepted by the country's Iron Dome versus 90% the day before. A senior intelligence official in Israel told NBC News. Who is this? Is he an Israeli intelligence official or a U.S. intelligence official? Is he a C.I.A.? I don't know. The official, who's not authorized to speak publicly because of the sensitivity of the information, said that faster Iranian missiles launched in the last day have also given Israel less time to prepare before the projectiles approach their intended targets. Until yesterday, we got an early warning of about 10 to 11 minutes. Whoa, wait a minute. It means, but before the missiles actually fell, 10 to 11 minutes before the missile actually fell. But this morning, it was 6 or 7 minutes. It means that the missiles were probably much faster than the previous ones. A longtime observer of Iranian activities in the region, the official, a longtime observer of Iranian activities in the region. Oh, so he's there during Dirty Joe time, right? The official added that the regime, despite having suffered significant leadership losses when Israel launched its surprise attack last week, still has missile stockpiles that could sustain their retaliatory strikes for long stretches, describing their approach as strategic patience. Oh, how does he know that they're just being patient? Arguing that some in Israel and across the region have written off the country's responsibility prematurely. He added that the regime has the resolve and the ability to continue and to sustain the attacks. So we have to be much more careful whenever we speak about the imminent collapse of the regime, which is far from being true. Okay, so this strange individual, this mystery person, says that Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. It's basically what he's saying. They're not ready to collapse. Trump's publicly stated they're in bad shape. They lost the first night, Trump said. This guy's saying, you're wrong. Iranian Army Major General Mohsen Rezai, our enriched uranium stockpiles have long been moved to safe and secret locations. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Really? Is that why the mountain blew up? Something blew up on that mountain. And I know my mountains. Iran, here we go again, has more. This is the Wall Street Journal. Iran has more missiles than Israel and U.S. have interceptors. So here we go. An anonymous official, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. Analysts say whatever happens, officials need to act fast to end the war because the U.S. and Israel can't afford to sit and intercept missiles for an extended period of time. Sounds like a narrative being built by somebody. Who's this now? Wall Street Journal again. Israel's running low on its defensive interceptors, Arrow interceptors, according to a U.S. official, raising concern about the country's ability to counter long-range ballistic missiles from Iran if the conflict isn't resolved soon. Is that why Trump said, I'll think about it in 2 weeks? Right? Is that Trump goading this person who's setting a narrative harmful to the official position of the White House? The U.S. has been aware of this capacity problem for months, the official said, and Washington has been augmenting Israelis' defenses with systems on the ground, at sea, and in the air. Since the conflict escalated in June, the Pentagon has sent more missile defense assets into the region, and now there is concern about the U.S. burning through interceptors as well. Here we go again. Neither the U.S. nor the Israelis can continue to sit and intercept missiles all day. Oh, who's this? Tom Carrico, director of the Missile Defense Project Center for Strategic and International Studies. That's not a U.S. official. That's something called the Missile Defense Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Who are they tied in with? Stanford? Harvard? Columbia? I don't know. The Israelis and their friends need to move with all deliberate haste to do whatever needs to be done because we cannot afford to sit and play catch. Here we go again. Mockingbird, using the same words. Trump said, I'll see it in about 2 weeks. If there's negotiations, I'll go. We'll see how it goes. But while they're banging their pots and pans about hurry up and do something right now, New York Times. Oh, here we go again. Will Israel's interceptors outlast Iran's missiles? Since Iran started retaliating against Israel's fire last week, Israel's world-leading air defense system has intercepted most incoming Iranian ballistic missiles, giving the Israeli Air Force more time to strike Iran without incurring major losses at home. Now, as the war drags on, what are we talking about, 6-7 days? Maybe 8? Israel is firing interceptors faster than it can produce them. That has raised questions within the Israeli security establishment about whether the country will run low on air defense missiles before Iran uses up its ballistic arsenal, according to 8 current and former officials. Former officials means you got canned, right? Trump gave you a little letter that said, get the hell out of here. Already, Israel's military has to conserve the use of its interceptors and is giving greater priority to the defense of densely populated areas and strategic infrastructure, according to the officials. Most spoke on the condition of anonymity to speak more freely. Yeah, so they're undermining Trump, who said, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll see how things go. Meanwhile, a mountain gets blown up. Intercept that. Ha 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 ha. The Israelis told them, wait a minute, right here. Israeli officials assess that Trump will decide in favor of a U.S. strike while stressing that Israel can do significant damage alone. U.S. officials say that the Israelis told the Trump administration that while they may not reach deep enough with bombs, they may do it with humans. Right? Because I have another clip a lot of people misconstrued. Trump has already asked military advisors whether its massive bunker busters would destroy Fordow. Pentagon officials told him they're confident it would. Maybe what we saw today was a test. Remember the terrain that the Iranian president's plane crashed on? It took them a day to get up just to the crash site. They could have had prepositioned teams done a test run on a similar geological area of the mountain. It's just speculation. But it is not clear Trump was totally convinced. Maybe he said, test it out, take a random mountain out there and go ahead and whop it real good, scare the hell out of him, and then assess the damage. And I'll see him in a couple of weeks. That could be. Here's a clip. Where'd it go? Where's she at? Was he young? Oh, wait a minute. Which one was it? It was a clip about, holy cow, where the White House correspondent was talking. I should have it. Well, anyway, the people that posted the clip were claiming that Trump was going to use nuclear weapons. Now he's going to use nuclear weapons. I guess I must not have got up into the studio. Anyway, but that's not what Trump said. What everybody says, all options are on the table. Whatever happens, we're going to react however we need to react. Because we know the Israelis said we can go in there and do it with human beings. Why would you go to tactical nuclear weapons if you don't have to. But everybody's spouting this business of Trump is going to decide whether he's not going to bomb them in 2 weeks. No. Trump's telegraphing, here it is. This might be it right here, where she just mentions tactical nukes as an aside.
Senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich, fresh from the White House briefing. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Martha. There have been a lot of headlines this afternoon, including one from The Guardian that claimed that the U.S. military has doubts about whether the bunker buster bombs could get the job done, and further claiming that only a tactical nuke maybe could finish it. And it further stated that the president is not considering a tactical nuke, that it was not one of the options that was presented to him. I was just told by a top official here that none of that report is true, that none of the options are off the table, and the U.S. military is very confident that bunker busters could get the job done at Fordo. The president is...
Yeah. No, he ain't going to use nukes. He'll do whatever he wants to do. This is going to happen. That government is finished. It's a matter of time. Here's what Ann Wokeness put up. Well, come on, screen. What are you doing today? Trump's first term foreign policy ended up being a massive success story, despite repeated doom predictions. 4 years, 0 wars. ISIS obliterated. Russia didn't invade. Middle East peace deals. North Korea normalization. World scared of U.S. deterrence. The lesson? Do not be a panickin. Do not be a panickin. While all that speculation is going on, Trump puts stuff up like this. It's important. Staying on the domestic front. Just approved storm damage money for the great state of Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, and North Carolina, among the other states that were previously approved. My honor to do so. DJT. Yay. He's worrying about the people. He had something where J.D. Vance announced that they were going to check in what happened with the Palestine, Ohio. Let me see if this is it or not. It's real small. Hard to see. Here it is, Vice President J.D. Vance. I'm proud to announce this HH Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and NIH Director that the Trump administration is launching a program to study the long-term health effects on the chemical spill in East Palestine, Ohio, and help residents access the care they need. East Palestine, we will never forget you. There you go. Don't be a panicking. What's it? Is this War Posobiec? Justice Thomas takes aim at the expert class in concurrence with banning child sex changes. Yeah. This is what I was talking about earlier. Taken together, this case serves as a useful reminder that the American people and their representatives are entitled to disagree with those who hold themselves out as experts. Well, they're ghouls. As far as I'm concerned, they're not experts, they're ghouls. But it appears that everything that they've done to those kids is not going to be criminally prosecuted. That would surprise me. Here's something else Mr. T put up today. Too many non-working holidays in America. You know, he read my mind. I didn't know this. I wasn't even paying attention. This is a federal holiday, June 19th. You know, I know in June 19th that they had the final battle of the Civil War was in, I think, Galveston, Texas. A bunch of holdouts, even though Lee surrendered, everything was over, a bunch of holdouts were over there in Galveston, Texas, and the Union soldiers went over there, shut it down, cleaned them out, freed whatever slaves they had, and that was the last armed conflict, I believe, of the Civil War by uniformed rebels. And I don't think this so-called holiday is about that. But Trump is right. Trump is right. Too many non-working holidays in America. It's costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. It must change if we're going to make America great again. Exactly. God, how many holidays we had back in the 60s? A federal holiday. You had Christmas, Thanksgiving, and not a whole hell of a lot more than that. Hi, MS. How you doing? Justin, how you doing? How many holidays did we have back in the day? It wasn't a whole lot. But now it's every foggy day. Oh, it's a holiday. Hey, it's a holiday. Look at this. Here's an idiot right here. Not the young lady you'll see in the picture. But you see the look on her face. She's running up. Keir Starmer is thinking he's talking to the president of South Korea. And he's confused. He's talking to the interpreter like the interpreter's the president of South Korea right in front of the president of South Korea. This lady comes up, oh my God, oh God.
Okay.
What a dimwit. And, you know, nobody covers that. And they were talking like Trump did so bad and Trump is such an embarrassment. All the liberals say stuff like that because Trump left. The word on the street was Trump didn't want to meet with Albanese from, oh gosh, there's another spider. Another spider. That time of year, I reckon. He didn't, from Australia. He didn't want to go visit the kids' table, is the way the staffer, the White House staffer put it. The kids' table with Zelensky and Macron and Albanese. And, he had better things to do. But here you got Starmer. He can't even tell who the president of South Korea is. Anyway, here's a clip I want to play y'all. Not funny and disgraced Kimmel. I have that clip where Arnold Schwarzenegger straightened out Joy Behar. Okay, very nicely. Very nicely. But then, has he been activated or what? He's a former governor of California. Not funny and disgraceful Jimmy Kimmel, schooled and educated by Arnold. Watch him start off taking jabs and insults at Trump and how Arnold handles it like a gentleman.
Someone who has experience with predators, how would you handle Donald Trump in this situation where he is threatening to withhold federal funding from our students, from our schools, from disabled students? We are a state that pays more to the federal government than we get in return from the federal government. Is it realistic, this idea that Governor Newsom has floated, that we would just stop paying them the money that we pay them?
Well, it sounds always easy, isn't it?
It sounds easy, but it never is.
It doesn't happen because every individual in California pays taxes, pays the state tax, local tax, and pays federal tax. So how are you going to stop them from doing that? And then if the IRS coming after you, I mean, this is look. Yeah. I just want everyone to know, this is all dialogue. This is rhetoric. The left going after the right going after the left. I mean, the bottom line is they should get together rather than always pointing the finger at each other. They should really get together and solve this problem, because that's what the American people want. They want to have this problem solved.
It seems like our president doesn't want to have this problem solved. He wants to create problems here in our state.
I have to tell you, people always say to me, oh my God, what's going on in America right now and all this stuff. And I say to them, I said, relax. I've come over here in 1968 where it was a disaster. I mean, even the most fantastic country, but I came over here in 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. There were the riots left and right because of the Vietnam War. There were the protests. Then there was the attack on the Democratic Convention in Chicago. And then after that, there was Watergate. And the thing went on and on and on, where people said, what is going on in America? And we got out of that mess. So America will always get out of this mess. And we will get out of this. Believe me, this will be solved, this issue. Los Angeles will always be a great city to come to. I'm very, very proud of Los Angeles. And I think the key thing here is that the federal government and the state and the locals work together to solve those problems.
People need to hear that, because people are looking for something positive. I think a lot of people are feeling disheartened and like, oh, things are not going to get better. They're going to get worse.
Let me tell everyone here, I travel a lot. And I just came back from Europe. And today, as much as 50 years ago, the same amount of people come up to me and says, Arnold, please, can you help me to get to America?
They do.
Because it's the greatest country in the world. It is the best country in the world. It is fantastic. No matter who is leading it and all this stuff, people come and go, but this always will be the greatest country. And this is why I cannot wait to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, and to just once again say, thank you, America, for, kind of bringing me into this country and showing me this enormous generosity. Everything that I've ever accomplished in my life is because of America. That's the
teaching people a little bit of humility, a little bit of thankfulness, brings up the assassinations, how bad things were in 1968. He's turning his ship around. Maybe I'll play that Joy Reid clip at another broadcast. But, same thing is quit complaining and be thankful. He's thankful. Here, we got this. We got to grab the steering wheel or the rudder or whatever you want to call it of our ship of state. We can't be electing people like this person here, New York City Mayor candidate Zohran Mamdani, slammed for Intifada comments. People got to educate themselves on the Muslim Brotherhood, Intifada, what all that stuff means. Intifada. Several Jewish groups have condemned. It's not about, I'm Jewish, I don't like Intifada talk. We all need to be leery of that kind of stuff. An Intifada means a fight, violence. The hardline left candidate Zohran Mamdani in New York's Democratic mayoral primary defended the phrase, globalize the intifada. Globalize a religious war. That's what he means. And people better wake the hell up and quit playing nice guy. Here's this lady running for, what is it? Democrat New Jersey candidate for governor. They say there's a Republican who is, for the first time in ages, polling within the margin of error. And this is her during a TV appearance. Democrats have all the answers. This is what he's up against. So we got a shot at New Jersey. And, you know, once these states go red and get a taste of good governance and get these whack jobs out, we're going to be, they'll never get back in. The Democrats will never get back in. But here's how blithe and smart and intellectual she is.
So, last question. If you could pass one piece of legislation, what would it be?
Wow, I would love, that's a really good question because there's so many that are coming to mind right now. But right now, I would love at this point to pass legislation to, just send a federal block grant back to states, back to the state of New Jersey to run some really key programs and innovate on them.
Didn't have an answer for that simple of a question. What the hell did she think they were going to talk about when they invited her on the show? What the hell's wrong with her brain? Here, let me burn through some of this stuff. What's this? Oh, this is that article I didn't want to read the rest of. It's all fluff and puff about that detention center crap. They got to add 3 pages repeating their mantra and their narrative. DNC money train at Diamond Silk comes to a halt as it struggles to cover operating costs. Tim Pool did a video this evening about how they're broke. The Democrat Party is sinking like a rock. They've lost David Hogg. He doesn't even want to be around them. Kentucky sued by the DOJ for giving tuition to illegal aliens. People of Kentucky, what the hell's going on? Grab hold of the rudder of your ship of state. The Department of Justice has challenged a provision that allows illegal aliens residing in Kentucky to pay in-state tuition at public colleges. Can you believe that? They have infiltrated normally safe states. Nobody's safe. Clandestine, put this out. Press Secretary Leavitt gave us a quote from POTUS regarding the situation in Iran. Trump says there's still a substantial chance for negotiations with Iran in the near future. To me, the situation is very obvious. Trump does not want to go to war, but is going to posture as heavily as possible to get Iran to submit and give up their nuclear program. Trump has yet to make it seem like he's about to go scorched earth to create a sense of urgency from Iran to force them to capitulate. I'd even be willing to bet Trump and his administration are planting false leaks in the media that he is considering a strike to make Iran think it's coming. Ultimately, Trump's objective is a diplomatic solution with as little military action as possible, and he is going to give Iran every opportunity to submit before he goes to the last resort. We are witnessing Trump negotiating, and he's trying to let us know not to panic. I agree with that. And another telling clue was that Iranian general saying at least stay out of it. Is that the opposition in Iran saying it's okay if the Israelis come in and take out the Ayatollah? I don't know. Sean Daniels, I put him up sometimes. California pays illegal immigrants to stay. At what point are we talking about aiding and abetting a predatory incursion? At what point do we talk about election interference and a myriad of other charges? California is expanding its state-funded California Food Assistance Program, CFAP, to include undocumented immigrants age 55 and older, starting in 2027. Well, hopefully we'll have them out of here by then. This means they'll be eligible to receive food assistance, estimated around $165 to $200 per month. This program is separate from the federal food stamps and is fully paid for by California taxpayers. Do you think the average working Californian wants to go through that? Wants to pay that out? Oh, here we have another dimwit. Right here. 8647 Veterans for Democracy. Maura Sullivan, Democrat and former assistant to the Secretary for Public Affairs under Obama, posted a picture of herself posing with the Comey numbers during a No Kings protest. She's currently running for U.S. Congress in New Hampshire. The way to support our veterans is to protect the values we fought for. Freedom from tyranny, democracy, and a better way of life for all of us. That's just disgusting. And people need to call them out. What's this? Libs of TikTok put this up. Did you know that in 2021, Gavin Newsom signed a bill which allows non-citizens to be eligible to run for or be appointed to some elected countywide office positions? This is insanity. This is insanity. Where you have illegal immigrants, people that don't belong in this country, holding an office, lording over local people. There's got to be something in there that the Justice Department can do. Lives to TikTok again. WTF what is a first partner? Happy birthday to the first partner of California, the outstanding mother of our 4 incredible children, and the love of my life. I guess they got offended by the term First Lady. Dysphoric world. Speaking of, boy, remember I was talking about all the teachers staying home was going to increase day drinking, alcoholism, depression. Well, the other thing that this upside down hedonistic resurgence or whatever you want to call it is causing an outbreak of people ruining their lives to be involved with minor children. This is a teacher, Christina Formella, the former teacher at District 99 in Illinois, who was arrested for SA of a 15-year-old student, has been charged with an additional 52 charges. New information that she engaged in. You know what? You know, and the terrible thing about it is she's destroying her life. A lot of times they have husbands, you know, nobody gives a damn about the husbands. It emotionally devastates them, ruins their life. They have to pick up and start over again. But nobody cares about that. But a lot of times these people have children. How would you like to see that picture on a Mother's Day card? I mean, how can people get a leg up in life or have any kind of sense of security or normalcy or direction when you have a parent that's been involved in this kind of crap? How come this isn't in the news as a warning that these prurient, hedonistic impulses can lead to your life being destroyed? Like Ronald Reagan said, doesn't medicine and morality teach us the same things? When you're talking about psychological damage and harm. More activist judges. Kathleen Williams, an Obama-appointed U.S. District Judge, is holding Florida AG. Here we go. Here comes a showdown. She wants to throw down with Ron DeSantis, I guess. Holding Florida AG James Uthmeyer in contempt after she blocked a Florida state law that makes it a crime for illegal aliens to enter the state. Who is this local inferior district court judge? Who the hell is she to tell the state legislature and Ron DeSantis, the governor, what they can and can't pass as a law? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. These judges can act like presidents. Yeah, they can tell the president what to do. That's something that's got to get straightened out. But we'll see if we get a showdown over that. You know, I got some horse videos I've been wanting to play for days. You know I love my horse videos. Here, Trump's Navy recruitment skyrockets. Trump administration moves to bulldoze Biden-era mining rule. So we're going to have, that's going to counteract this, whatever happens with oil prices because of what's going on. Cheaper coal. Let's see. Let's see. This is the guy that's coming up on that one I just played the video on in New Jersey. Let's keep an eye on that. Jack Citarelli. I hope I said that right. Trump-backed Republican nominee for governor of New Jersey is within the margin of error against Democratic opponent in a long-time blue stronghold. That's the one who I just posted like, when I get to be governor, I'm going to, I don't know. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Hi, Vance. Nice to meet you. I'm just checking the comments real quick. Old man, how you doing, old man? Nice to meet you, too. So anyway, yeah, more Yeah, I guess we'll get to 21 trillion someday. Wherever the hell that's at. What's this? Oh. I've noticed, what do you all make of this? Trump has been kicking Fox News in the rear end. The crooked Fox News polls got the election wrong. I won by much more than they said I would, and have been biased against me for years. They're always wrong and negative. That's why MAGA hates Fox News, even though their anchors are great. Well, he did put that caveat in there. This has gone on for years, but they never changed the incompetent polling company that does their work. Who is their polling company? Does anybody know? Now, if a new Fox News poll comes out this morning, giving me a little more than 50% of the border, and that the border is miraculously perfect. Nobody was able to come in last month. 60,000 people came in with Sleepy Joe in the same month last year. I hate fake pollsters, one of the worst, but Fox will never change their discredited pollster. Who is their pollster? Damn if I know. Is it Frank Luntz? Here's what Trump put up right here on his True Social page. You could go there if you want to play it. I'm going to play it real quick.
What, are you kidding me? 56% approval in a brand new Rasmussen poll for President Trump. 56% of the American people think he's doing a great job. That is a landslide. That is awesome. And you consider everything he's up against and everything he's going through and everything that, all the innovation that he's come up with and the constant loud opposition of the media, and his numbers at 56%. You know who that beats? Ronald Reagan at this point in his second term, just 52%. It reminds me, the Gipper and President Trump together. Isn't this an amazing picture? The two of them at some function at the White House. Look at that. We got the 40th president and the 45th and the 47th president all in one spot. It's pretty awesome. So, 56%. That is historic. I always knew that actually President Trump's vision would be popular. What's really not to like about it? When you get through all of the rhetoric and the distortions, make America great again, having borders, not sexualizing children, not getting into forever wars and then not winning them, it just has mass appeal. And you think about where he was a year ago, not even a year ago. He was still going through all of this nonsense, all of this crap. And today, 56% in the polls. That's important. It's not just some number. It's important for him to get his agenda completed, right? People respond. People in the Beltway, they respect a number like that a lot.
I thought that word at the bottom was tribunals for a minute. I'd like to see some tribunals. Who wants to see some horse videos? Some horses getting rowdies out of the way. Look, here's this goofballs on Now This Impact, brought to you by USAID. Another thing to celebrate this Pride Month. What are you talking about, Pride Month? A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from limiting passport sex markers for trans and non-binary citizens. Here we go. We've got another judge just getting in the way of the President of the United States. Some goofball, 1 out of 700 or 800 local judges peppered all around the country that thinks they can run the country better than the President of the United States and the people that voted for him. Currently, people who identify as trans or non-binary can request an X identification marker on their passport instead of being limited to their birth-assigned gender. Trump's previous executive order rejected this option and narrowed the definition of sex on official documents to just male or female. That's right, because we're a civilized society that's not psychotic. The move was quickly criticized by members of the Alphabet Gang for being discriminatory, including actress Hunter Schafer. Her new passport had incorrectly listed her gender as male. That's all going to get overturned. But, I quit going in the comments. These people are insane. Yeah, yay, judge. The judge is going to straighten out mean old Donald Trump. And they always get turned over. Oh, here's that. Remember what I was talking about when the Iranian television got hacked? They were showing people protesting in the streets and telling people to rise up and protest. Well, the other thing they showed was women combing their hair. Israel hacks Iran State TV airs women protest video. So those old dried up mullahs, wrinkled up, dried up prunes are going to be so mad. Whenever they see a woman getting to comb their hair even. I thought that was funny. I saw the parts I saw showed people raising hell in the streets, telling people to go out there and join. But the haircut, the hair combing, that's gonna make them want to cut off somebody's foot or head or throw rocks at somebody. I mean, these people do not need to be in charge of a nation. Anyway, so who wants to see? Look at the difference. I'm gonna show you. Here's one horse video I've been wanting to show y'all. The difference between the Summer of Love so-called protests and how these police forces can really do what they need to do if they're given the okay. But watch how this horse corrals this crowd. I mean, he just plows right through there, and it sets the tone for how these people need to behave around these horses. You talk about discipline. These horses are disciplined, trained. Anyway, here we go. Let me cut my mic off. That's not the longer one. When they started abusing the horses, that's when they really started losing the battle. And this next clip I want to show you, you'll see a couple of things. One is that these horses, their vision is limited. Shows you how good they're trained, how disciplined these horses are. Their vision is covered to protect their eyes, from fireworks and stuff like that. And you'll see the horses like almost they'll stumble on a curve or they'll run into a post, but they keep composed. I mean, these horses, if they wanted to, they could really hurt people, but they maintain control and discipline. But anyway, what you'll see some of these people stupid enough to be thinking if they walk slow or put their elbows out, they're going to stop a horse. And anyway, between the idiots in the crowd and the really smart horses, it's a very interesting video. Now that's crowd control. That's a good job of crowd control right there. Did you see that guy with the shield? I'm not going to play it again, but he was blocking some of the shots from the officers. They ought to go ahead and snatch him up for, he's coming there with a shield. He's prepared to riot. He has no intention of peaceably obeying lawful orders. And I'd like to see people like that get arrested. But here you see that there's no horses here again. Yeah, that's right, Todd. Again, what does it accomplish other than to confirm they're idiots? Well, you'll see one of them here. You'll see some idiots here. I don't care if you're middle-aged, overweight woman, tucking your head down in between your shoulders, walking slow. You need a foot in your rear end when you do that. If they tell you to get back to a certain place, you get back. But anyway, here's no horses, but good discipline. And the thing that makes me mad is there's going to be lawyers suing. And there's going to be officials in the government that sympathize with these idiots that'll just hand out money like bags of popcorn. But anyway, here's a no horse crowd control. Isn't it funny after the so-called No Kings rally, we haven't really, there's a little bit of stuff popping off in the usual places like Portland, but But that stuff's going to get squashed before long. I saw somebody said, we got plenty of time left. I showed this at the beginning of the video. 3.5 more years. Get a screenshot of that, put it on your Meta. Right, folks? I'm just looking through the comments. Yeah, what part of backup do they not understand? What the hell's wrong with these damn people? But anyway, it's good to see that these things are getting under control. What's this? Another notice from Trump. Too late. You know, I thought that was something that he was using this phrase with both Iran and Powell. Too late. Powell is the worst. A real dummy who's costing America billions. Fannie Freddie regulator. The housing mortgages. Powell should cut rates or quit. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, because this is where they're trying to offset Trump's tariff income by making Americans pay more to central banks when they're giving Europe breaks, 10 different breaks in interest rates, but they're trying to jam it to the American people. And all they're trying to do is offset what Trump's gains with tariffs. And as far as I'm concerned, he's not acting in America's best interests. So anyway, I'm going to play Tom Homan as we go out. And I'll be going live tomorrow night. And I want to thank everyone who went to buy me a coffee this week. Wayne and Pappy and Whiskey. Where are we at? We're getting... I forgot. It's the 19th, Juneteenth. So anyway, and I appreciate everybody else that has gone to buy me a coffee to help out. I got a link in the description if anybody wants to help an old man out. This is a totally viewer-supported channel. And I got a link in the description. So anyway, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And if this isn't the right Tom Homan clip, I'll play the second one. Where he says, it doesn't matter what you do, we're coming back. So anyway, folks, I hope you all have a great evening. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
When they double down, we triple down. So men and women at ICE are going to keep standing up. They're going to keep doing the job. They're working for the greatest president in my lifetime. People are going to say what they want about President Trump, his success on the border. We got the most secure border in the history of the nation today. The criminal threats, illegal alien criminal threats arrested and deported are at a record high, much higher than Joe Biden. So the men and women at ICE are doing the job. They took an oath to do this job. They love doing this job, and they're going to keep doing this job. No one's going to scare them away. No one's going to bully them from doing their job. Men and women at ICE are going to stand up every day and hit the streets. We got over 1,000 teams all across the country operating today, operating yesterday, operating tomorrow. We're going to keep doing our job. The protest, you can protest all you want. You can do all the violence you want. ICE will be back out there again tomorrow morning.